No. Can I get Kathy Solomon and Pablo from the committee to come to the front? Thank you. Time, I'd like to introduce Hannah, who has started the Faces of COVID Victims, and just want her to share her experience with us.
Hi. So I just want to start this off by saying I wasn't expecting to talk, so I do apologize for anything. But my name is Hannah Ernst. I'm 16 years old, and I am the creator of Faces of COVID Victims. Thank you. Thank you. So this project, if I'm being completely honest, was an accident. I never expected to be able to draw as many people and memorials as many people. But I did lose my grandpa in May of last year, and he meant everything to me. And one night my mom came home and she was just so mad. She was like, people are making jokes about COVID. You know, people are undermining the amount of deaths that are happening, and people are making fun of the people who are dying. And I realized I needed to do something, because my grandpa, he meant everything to me, just as your loved ones mean everything to you. And just thinking about the fact that people are joking about it, people are considering this, you know, not as serious as it is, I really wanted to do something about it. So I created a memorial of my grandpa in front of a yellow heart. And my mom, she posted it onto a Facebook support page and said, you know, like, this would be a really cool idea. And I would say about 24 hours in, I was international. I was getting requests from all over the place. And it's something that I love doing. My grandpa, he was an artist himself, so in being able to draw all of your loved ones, I am in a way also remembering him. The project is really just meant to raise awareness to people who don't understand the significance of losing someone to COVID-19. It's really meant to create a sea of yellow, which is the color of COVID-19, to really prove that these people were not numbers and they had lives. And I want to remember my grandpa, Cal Schoenfeld. He was 83, which unfortunately is the stereotypical old person, but that's the whole point of my project. You know, I've had the privilege of doing people that don't fit that stereotype. I've done young adults, I've done new parents, I've done children who have passed away from this virus. This is not a joke, and it's not funny. This is not something that needs to be taken as not seriously as so many people have. So in doing what I do, I really hope that I'm able to touch as many families as I can, help as many loved ones be remembered, and in the process, remember my grandpa. Thank you.
We're going to get started with the Floral Heart ceremony in a few minutes. So if I could please ask everyone to please clear the stage. You may sit in the benches, both the side aisles as well as the middle benches with our empty bench memorial. And in a minute, we will get started. I would ask that you keep the center aisle clear, please, because our participants, our artist, is going to be processing down the center aisle. Thank you so much. The ceremony will begin in a minute. Thank you.
Sounds all right. He's running in right now. There he goes. Well, we could use it for the latest one, right? This is the only one that might get flagged, right? The first Oh, for the first, because I know, but it's not him, it's not somebody who's. Oh, somebody very family. Yeah, it's just like was annotated. Like, different.
I mean, best case scenario, so worst case scenario. Oh, like,
Hello, testing. Okay. I would just like to ask the artist Christina Libby, Catherine Solomon, Pablo Lopez, and Alyssa Femia to report to the back so we can get started with the program. Okay, Kevin Abate is our saxophonist, and we're going to get started.
Can you hear me? Okay, I'm Christina Libby. I started the Floral Heart Project in last April. This doesn't normally happen, sorry. I will fix this in a second, but I want to give everyone a chance to speak. So I started the Floral Heart Project last April because I was really distraught that people weren't doing more to help mourn the people that we had lost to COVID. I was so angry that in a city where hundreds of people were dying every day, in a city where we had done so much post 9/11 or sort of any trauma, that we weren't coming together and doing things. So I very, very rarely, obviously, make hearts that are vertical, and normally I place them on the ground. And the idea was to create sort of these little spaces of hope where we could gather and people could tell their stories. And so I created, I've created almost nearly 100 floral hearts, but then I have worked with people all over the US, and we've created hundreds of them around the country. So I will fix this art piece, but what this is really about is just making space so that everyone who has lost someone or something has a space to tell their story, and that hopefully we can find hope and connection and community in telling the stories together. So.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emilu Solomon Rodriguez. I'm co-chair of the Queen's COVID Remembrance Day Committee. We just thank you for joining us for the 4 p.m. Floral Heart Ceremony. Christina Libby, our artist, is creating this special piece for us right on site. So you can see we had to make some adjustments, but that's what happens when you film live. So what we wanted to do was offer this space for healing and hope. And what we wanted to do is actually share some words of remembrance from other families that have lost a loved one here. So I'm going to open up that space for healing, starting with my sister, Catherine Solomon. Unfortunately, last year we lost both of our parents 2 weeks apart, and she's going to tell our COVID loss story. So here's Catherine.
Good afternoon. My name is Catherine Solomon. I'm an oncology registered nurse and a COVID survivor who lost both my parents and uncle within a 3-week period. We are all here today to honor our loved ones. First, I would like to thank my fellow essential workers. Thank you for all you have done and continue to do. Thank you to the health for our loved ones. Held their hand, helped us tell our loved ones that we love them over countless FaceTime calls, and for being there when we couldn't be. Those actions will be with me always. I know the world has moved on, and people want things to go back to normal. But things will never go back to normal for people who lost their loved ones here. We are all still grieving 1 year after a family and friends have passed. Unfortunately, my family has experienced grief. We lost my brother on Christmas Eve in 2001, my niece in 2017, and grandmother that same year after Thanksgiving dinner. Our parents' and uncles' passing was different, though. We weren't prepared and couldn't say goodbye and be with them. When our parents passed, I was not able to see anyone and was quarantining while sick with COVID. I was scared, too. I remember my fiance put me in the shower because my fever was almost 106 and it wasn't very responsive. I went to the ER 3 times. Luckily, I wasn't hospitalized. But My memories from this last year are calling 911 for my mom and getting upset I did not hug her, not knowing that that would be the last time that I would see her. I also remember my dad when they were annoying. These memories will last forever and ingrained in my thought and heart. Nothing in my life will ever be the same. I'm getting married this year, and knowing that my parents won't be there is very difficult. My dad won't be able to walk me down the aisle, or I won't be able to have father-daughter dance. And my mom won't be able to be there to help me with my dress, but I know they're watching from heaven. I know many of you are feeling the same as me. A whole mix of emotions, being angry, sad, and sometimes guilty. But what we have to remember is that our loved ones are now our angels looking down on us from heaven. Thank you for letting me speak today.
Thank you, Kathy, for sharing our parents' story. Now I'd like to introduce another Queens COVID Remembrance Day Committee member, Alyssa Femia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alyssa Femia. I'm the granddaughter of Michael Perna. He passed away early last year from COVID-19. As a child, I vividly remember thinking about how cool it was for me to have my grandpa as my best friend, and how cool it was I got to live with him. And he was just that, my best friend. Some of my favorite memories growing up included him. From going down the Jersey Shore with him and my grandma, from sitting in our backyard and listening to his favorite songs, he even made grocery shopping fun. I would look forward to coming home from work to tell him about how my day was. He would always ask me, "How are they treating you on the job?" He was the best grandpa, best dad, and best husband. He was a family man and devoted his life to his family. He loved having his family over and greeted everyone with his huge, infectious smile. I know today he's looking down at my family with that exact smile. He was such a strong man. He never fell ill or had a hospital stay during his life, so when he became sick early April of last year, we were all shocked and scared. After a few days of being home sick, his doctor suggested that it would be best for him to go to the hospital to be monitored. He fought for 11 days in the hospital before his passing on April 19th. I know he fought this virus with everything he had in him. The last time my sisters and I spoke to him was something I will never forget, as it haunts me as well as brings me some comfort. His nurse, Stephanie, at New York Presbyterian, was kind enough to call us late at night one night, as we were not really able to speak through him through his 11 days of being at the hospital. My grandpa told us to pick him up, and you can imagine how badly we wanted to, but couldn't. My sister Andrea told him that he is the strongest person she knows, and I couldn't agree more. I then told him I loved him, and as someone that didn't always say I love you back, he replied, I love you back. I can still hear his voice in my head saying this. I wish there was a way I can record it so I'll never forget it. I want to extend my deepest condolences to all of you. I know the journey of grief is a difficult one. It comes in waves. We have bad days and good days. What I've learned more than ever is that we need to celebrate our loved ones after they've passed, continue traditions and things they love to do, as they will live on forever through that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. Now I'd like to introduce Pablo Lopez Jr.
Good evening. This is my nephew Jordan. He volunteered to stand by my side. My name is Pablo Lopez Jr. I am the son of Marilu Lopez Santiago. My mother passed away on April 5th, 2020, 3 days before her 70th birthday due to COVID-19. She left behind 5 children and 5 grandchildren. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about my mother. I miss seeing her and hearing her voice. She always encouraged us to do right by others and always save and serve others first. To give with our hearts. My mother was the most caring person I've ever known, a God-fearing person. She was always there for us and made sure that had time to pray for us and give us words of advice. My mother had the most beautiful smile, the greatest laughter that will make others laugh. Her smile will light up a room. Her heart was pure. My biggest fear in my experience with COVID was making sure everyone in my family was safe and following all the guidelines. It never crossed my mind that my mom would get infected with this COVID-19 virus. She was a healthy woman with no underlying condition. The last few days in March, the first few days in April were the toughest of my life, waiting for doctors to call and experience a life-altering moment when everything came to a stop. So many life changes in order to keep on living and push forward without my mother. Planning a funeral was the worst, with so many guidelines to follow. Thankfully, we managed to get through it together as a family. Staying strong with my siblings, making sure that we don't give up. Mom would never want us to give up. With so many obstacles in the way, we overcome each of them day by day by God's grace. To all of you in the audience today at home watching through the TV, I encourage you to hold the great memories and the moments that made your relationship with your loved ones so special. What helps me get through my tough moment is when my family and I connect and share great experiences we had with our mother. These great memories always outweigh the sorrow. So I encourage you to hold on those memories. I would never forget my mother. Her memory will live through my family and forever. In closing, I would like to thank COVID-19 Lost Family and Friends, the Yellow Heart Memorial, the Queens COVID Remembrance Day Committee, and a special thanks to Hannah Ernst for Faces of COVID, and all the volunteers. I would like to leave you all with a Bible verse that was my mom's favorite. If you take a moment and listen to the birds. Matthew 6:26. Si Dios cuida de las aves, cuidará también de mí. If God takes care of his birds, he will take care also of me. Take care.
Thank you so much, Pablo. I just want to thank all of our family members here who shared their loved ones and their stories. We're going to close out the ceremony with a special song by our saxophonist, Kevin Obate. Thank you, Kevin. And that concludes our Floral Heart ceremony. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. We welcome you to stay with us throughout the day to continue to honor those in our empty memorial, empty benches, as well as those names that are listed on the yellow hearts behind me. Thank you so much, and we also welcome you to join us at 7 o'clock for the Sunset Candlelight Vigil. Thank you, everybody.